What's the next stage?
Hey guys, it's me, Meaty Guy Zelkova, and today we're going to talk about the GOAT, Kamen Rider Fourze. Like always, let's start off with the plot of the series. Kamen Rider Fourze follows the adventures of Gentaro Kizuragi, a new student at AGS. His goal is to become friends with everybody in the school, but unbeknownst to Gentaro, a group of monsters named the Zodiac have been delivering switches to the students at the school, in order to find their elite members of the 12 Apostles, based on the Zodiac signs most people are familiar with. This doesn't stop Gentaro as he transfers into Kamen Rider Fourze, defeating the Zodiac to become their friends along the way, even forming a group made up of his friends to help him in this task. This group being the Kamen Rider Club, whose members include Kengo Utahoshi, Yuki Jojima, Miyu Kamishiro, Jake, Shundai Manji, and Tobuko Nozawa. They also get later editions of the elusive Kamen Rider Meteor, or Ryusei Sakata, and their teacher, Osuki. Yeah, Kamen Rider Fourze's plot is sorta barren, as well it's the most episodic Kamen Rider show we've reviewed so far, using the Kamen Rider story structure of the 2-episode arc, meaning every episode of Fourze is a two-parter. While the overall plot of the Zodiacs and them trying to find the 12 Apostles is always relevant, for a majority of the arcs until we get to about episode 41, majority of the focus is about the monsters of that arc and Gentaro befriending them with some character development for members of the Kamen Rider Club on the side occasionally. Which is a structure I feel like makes the series very easy to just pick up and watch. Like 2 episodes make up a complete arc and you can just be satisfied with that. The episodicness also helps to allow for the characters to get more little bits of characterization, on which I feel like recent seasons miss out on how they basically go at neck-break speeds in terms of telling their story. But with that, let's get into the characters.
I'm going to defeat you with the power of friendship! And also this gun I found.
Gentaro Kizuragi. What is there to be said that hasn't been said already? He's just one of the nicest and friendliest characters to ever exist, which is the entire attention behind his creation as a character. As before Fourze started airing, a significant event at the Tohoku earthquake took place, so when it came time to make the next Kamen Rider show, they wanted to tell that its protagonist would be a super friendly guy in order to cheer up the children who watch the show. Which, as I said, Gentaro accomplished this amazingly. As seeing how willing Gentaro is to help literally anyone, no matter what they do, is low-key inspiring. Gentaro literally gets murdered, and you know what Gentaro does after he comes back to life? Immediately forgive the guy and tell him he has nothing to apologize for. And stuff like this is why Gentaro is my favorite Rider protagonist. While there are other protagonists that are more interesting from a story perspective, but more relatable, such as Wataru from Kiva, or Sento from Build, but Gentaro's the kind of guy I want to be like. Maybe not to the degree of forgiving people who murdered me, but to the degree of being this nice guy people can look to and rely upon. And even if I can't reach that, she's always a reminder that no matter what, we can be better. But to prove that even more, listen to the old people he's helped made better in the Kamen Rider Club.
Oh, my vital organs!
To start off this fun and rambunctious group, you have the son of the man who created the power of Fourze, Kengo Utahoshi. Kengo is a very smart, sickly, and antisocial type of dude. His only goal at the beginning of the series is to complete his father's life work of finishing the Fourze driver, in order to become Fourze, until Gentaro takes the belt and becomes Fourze himself. This makes Kengo hate Gentaro not only because of the fact that Gentaro is kind of a reckless idiot at times, it's also because he's jealous of the fact that he's not truly strong enough to use the power of Fourze. But Gentaro over and over again proves to Kengo that he put the power of Fourze in correct hands, to the point where they become friends. Honestly, a lot of Kengo's arc deal with how he gets used to having a friend like Gentaro, but his standoffish nature. Judged in the Magnet States arc, where he decides to quit the club due to the fact that he thinks Gentaro is trying to have him replaced with Ryusei as developer of the Fourze switches. Until Kengo realizes Gentaro was only trying to get him more help when he came to making the Astral switches due to his illness. Or the more significant moment to me is when Kengo is revealed as the Court Child and knows he has to leave the planet to fulfill his grander purpose. With him deciding that active he's lost all of his emotions, that way he can ignore his own feelings in the matter. So Gentaro, not believing for a second Kengo lost his emotions, forces him to be honest with them, and he breaks down crying, not wanting to leave his friends behind. But Gentaro promises him that even if Kengo leaves, that they were still friends. Honestly, Kengo's a pretty cool character, made for a great role for Gentaro over the series. And seeing him and Gentaro become better friends over the series was amazing to see, due to how Kengo's standoffish nature clashed with Gentaro's outgoing nature. But let's get to Yuki now. Yuki is a goofy space nerd, being the first person who helped develop the Fourze system with Kengo, and Gentaro's childhood friend from the past. After Gentaro, Yuki is the kindest and most cheerful member of the Kamen Rider Club. She also sings a song based on her stuffed animal buddy known as Hayabusa-kun. But behind all this goofiness, she actually has some more complexity to her. As shown over the series, Yuki isn't really well liked by the other people at the school, seen as an annoyance, which has an effect on her as she genuinely thinks no one really believes in her, or her dream of becoming an astronaut. This comes to a head in the Gemini arc, where the embodiment of all her dark urges is literally destroying her life, and seeing how easily her friends were willing to believe that Yuki would do all the terrible stuff the dark version of her did, causes her to lose her memories and life to her darkness. until Gentaro shows her a memento of his always present belief in her and her dreams, making her see that her friends do believe in her and her dreams, allowing her to reclaim her life from the dark version of her. So yeah, Yuki's a pretty fun character, and a continuous reminder that even the kind of us in life still needs help from others. But hey, let's get into the rest of the people Gentaro benefits.
Everybody ready? Come on, let's go!
We have now gotten to the Kamen Rider Club, aka the group of characters that while I think are also cool, I thought it would be better to place them here than giving them each individual section. Let's go in order here. Start off with the Queen Bee of the school, Miyu Kamishiro. He starts off as a stuck-up and rich leader of the cheerleaders, until Gentaro broke through to her that she should take pride in her leadership capabilities and put it towards a better cause than being a douchebag to everyone in school. Joining the Kamen Rider Club, where she becomes the president and when she graduates mid-show, chairwoman of the group. She acts about the same, but now instead of using it to grade people she seems lower than her, she uses it to guide the Kamen Rider Club forward. But yeah, she's pretty cool. Then you get Jake, the school's informant. He's a massive slacker and liar, having one time tricked some poor kid into protecting him from some bullies, only to then talk about him behind his back like it was nothing. The situation Gentaro was in when the kid Jake tricked turned into the unicorn Zodiac. But Gentaro, despite learning how terrible a person Jake is, decided to still be his friend, realizing that a guy like Jake has probably lacked many actual friends, and that by showing him what friendship truly looks like, he can become a better person. Which while again Jake doesn't entirely change, we do see some growth, as in the Capricorn arc, where his friends become a Zodiac that has the power to improve others, which allows him to sing well, which he believes will allow him to finally achieve his dream of being a musician. But despite what he knows is the right thing to do, he decides to continue working with the Zodiac, but he eventually realizes how much his actions have been affecting the people he cares about, and is shown taking full responsibility for his manipulative actions, which is a great moment to see for his character. So overall, Jake, a pretty funny guy. Then get the leader of the school's football team, Shindaimanji. Shindaimanji, much like his Ani and African girlfriend Miyu, started off the stuck-up rich douchebag, having one of his first on-screen actions being him repeatedly tackling Gentaro for daring to sit in his girlfriend's seat. But eventually it's revealed Shun isn't a douchebag for no reason, as it's his way of venting out his frustration about the fact that he hasn't made a decision in his life. Everything he does and every action he takes, no matter how detrimental it is to him in the long run, is just him trying to fulfill his father's expectations. Which Gentaro makes him realize, well, evaluate the feel, it's not the way he should continue with his life. Honestly, Shun is probably my favorite character out of this group on this watch. I think it's mainly because he's the one who changes the most from his earlier characterization to his later characterization. As he goes from a douchebag to just a lovable guy who wants to make the girl he likes happy. As seen in the graduation arc, where bro is perfectly fine with Gentaro dancing with you. He sees that's what will make her the happiest. Basically, what a Chad. Last but not least in terms of the students is Tomoko Nozama, the resident goth girl of the group. Tomoko starts off the series by joining a group of women who intend to get back at the school and its students for ostracizing them, which happens to be led by a Zodiac. Her joining them with the intention to escape to the moon, as well, she doesn't like herself too much. But Gentaro actually takes her to the moon, and makes her see what it's really like, something that truly doesn't need to change, like Tomoko herself. Her goth girl tendencies, while creepy to others, is what makes Tomoko, which was cool to see. She's also a Kamen Rider fangirl, giving Gentaro and later Ryusei the title. But overall, she was a pretty fun character, especially with her dynamic with Ryusei later on. But before we get to him, let's briefly talk about Osugi for a second. Osugi is a teacher at the school. The first half of the show is a massive jerk, and I dislike him. Once he becomes part of the Kamen Rider Club, he suddenly shows how much he cares about his students. Suddenly all his mannerisms become funny instead of annoying, and he just becomes sorta based overall. But with all that being said, let's go from the cool Kamen Rider Club to the man of the hour.
All my friends are dead!
Ryusei starts off as a transfer student at AGHS, transferring so that he can keep a better eye on the Zodiacs and the Kamen Rider Club, where he joins as a member, hiding his more cold and judgmental personality under the facade of being a massive coward. But why is Ryusei the way he is? Why does he fight his media? That's because he failed to save his friend, Jiro, who tried to become a Zodiac and failed, leaving him in a coma. Due to this, Ryusei refuses to become friends with anyone. That way he doesn't have to feel the pain of failing someone like that again. Only fighting as Meteor so that he can finally meet various Zodiac, who he believes has the power to save Jiro from his coma. Despite his refusal to become the Kamen Rider Club, and especially Gentaro as friend, he grows attached. As seen in the Meteor Storm arc, the Kamen Rider Club put their literal souls on the line so that Ryusei can check on Jiro's worsening condition in the hospital, leading to him almost risking the ability to transfer into Meteor again, just so that he can stop them from permanently losing their souls to the Cancer Zodiac. something which he says that he has to pay the group back for. But despite the group's blind faith and belief in him, the minute he finally was able to find the Ares Zodiac, he betrays them without a second thought, by killing Gentaro. And even after Ares does his part of the deal, and saves Jiro from his coma, giving Ryusei what he wants, Ryusei realizes how terrible of a person he is. Like, yeah, he got his friend back, but it wasn't worth the price that came with it. Like, yeah, sure, Gentaro was an Indian, kind of annoying. But all he wanted to do was to see Ryusei be genuine with himself, and others, and not keep himself so closed off. Gentaro, the man who used the last bit of his life he had left to tell Ryusei that regardless of how he lied and betrayed the group by his actions as Meteor, or taking the deal to end Gentaro's life in order to save his friend, that he didn't hate him, which causes Ryusei to have one last final stand against Ares, not as Meteor, but as plain old Ryusei, believing that it's only way to truly make up for the pain that his actions has caused as Meteor. But Gentaro obviously doesn't die for real, and as I said, forgives Ryusei. But Ryusei just doesn't accept that, and dedicates his life to protecting the club for the rest of the series. At this point, Ryusei isn't really important to the plot. At the same time, finding Ryusei is about as good as serious Ryusei. They got bro out here playing golf. Of course he stays cool. Top tier secondary writer, to be honest. Let's get into our last section, the Zodiacs. The Zodiacs are the main villains of the series. Their goal is to find more Zodiacs that they can possibly evolve into the 12 Apostles, to allow their leader, Gamo, the Sagittarius Zodiac, to be able to warp through space in order to meet a group of aliens known as the Presenters. Which would be fine if it wouldn't result in the destruction of Japan, or the fact he needed to use high school students to put their life at risk in order to reach that goal. I'm very conflicted on the Zodiacs. On one hand, they can be a very fun concept depending on the arc. For example, one of my favorites is the Cygnus Zodiac, which is used by a guy who wants to be a hero but doesn't really see himself as a hero. So Cygnus manifests as an alternate ego with the user believing him to be an entirely different person from himself. A very fun concept for an episode. This level of fun is really only for the Zodiacs for each specific arc, which we're obviously not going to talk about, so we're left with 6 of the 12 Apostles, and they're much less interesting. This is probably why my favorite of this group is the user of the Cancer Zodiac, since he's the only person who is actually shown in action both as their base Zodiac form and their 12 Apostle form, which alongside his stand-up comedian persona makes him entertaining. But if we're going to talk about them, let's at least talk about the 3 who make it to the end. There's Hayami, the Libra Zodiac. He's the principal of the school. He's a very cool guy by everyone. But in reality, he's a massive snake, not only creating multiple Zodiacs, but being pretty petty. Such as when he literally let the Cancer Kid, for what he believes, get executed just because he's made fun of him. But other than that, he's sort of whatever. And you have Tatsugami, who's the Leo Zodiac. He's the bodyguard of Gamo, and that's about it, to be honest. He has some cool fights with Ryusei, and it's kind of intimidating. Then you get to the main villain, Gamo. Gamo is the chairman of AGHS, having built the school and the location beneath a phenomenon known as the Hull, which allows for him to create the Zodiacs, for his already mentioned plan to meet aliens. Honestly, Gamo really isn't all that interesting outside of fitting the themes of the series, with being an educator who uses power to give what are essentially drugs to children, how he rejects the ideas of friendship. What's the most interesting thing about him? If he wasn't trying to meet aliens, he probably would have been a cool guy, as he does at times show what you can call forms of genuine kindness to others. Especially when he's genuinely shown to be sad when his longtime friend, the user of this Virgo Zodiac, dies after betraying him. It is even shown in the end when after Gentaro literally feeds him the power of friendship, even going so far as befriending Gamo himself. Gamo decides to use the last of his life to revive Kengo, who he had killed earlier due to the core switch. Created Kengo, the poor child, disturbed his plan to meet the presenters. So that impart his dream to the Kamen Rider Club, something which they accept. But with that, we're done with Fourze. Overall, I love Kamen Rider Fourze, and who is my favorite Rider series as a whole. It's fun characters, really good story structure that I feel makes the show very easy to just sit down and watch. It's amazing music, which you didn't even really get into. Meteor's entrance song, Shooting Star, is the best, by the way. But other than that, I just really messed with its scenes of friendship and the variety of different ways that it can manifest. To stop myself from rambling on even longer about how good I think the show is, because I left out a lot of details, let's end the video here. See you in another review, where I'm hopefully just as positive.